Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Einat Kessler here with a new video tutorial, and today I'm going to show you two different designs of Christmas folios. Okay, so we're going to start with 3 pieces of chipboard to make the folio itself. And again, you have all the measurements in the link in the description under the video. So I'm going to take 2 8.5 by 11 papers and glue them together to make a larger paper to cover my folio cover. And once I have that, I can go ahead and arrange my chipboard pieces on the inside of the paper. So I'm going to attach the spine in the center, and then I'm going to add the 2 other pieces on both sides. It's always a good idea to use liquid glue because liquid glue allows you to move the piece into position because it takes a few seconds until it's dry. It also adds strength to your final project. So when I do covers and mini albums and basically everything, I always use liquid glue. So I'm going to add my 2 larger chipboard pieces, and as you can remember, when you make a cover, a folio, or anything with chipboard, if it needs to move, you need to allow a space for it to move. So you need to create a joint. Basically, even in our body, our joints are moving because there is a tiny space between the bones. So the same thing goes here. So when I attach the other chipboard piece, I leave at least the thickness of the chipboard. The space is as wide as the thickness of the chipboard. I like to even add on that and sometimes make it 2 spaces. So like, imagine you have 2 pieces of chipboard and that's their width. That is the space that you're going to leave in between the pieces when you attach them. Same goes for the other side. This way you'll have a really nice joint and the folio cover can be closed and open. The paper will not tear and everything will work perfectly. So once we're done with that, we're going to cut a little bit off the excess of the paper because it's slightly too big. I'm leaving about an inch and a half of paper. And when you cut the corners, don't cut all the way to the chipboard corner. Leave a tiny little bit of paper because then we'll be able to make nice professional looking corners when we wrap the paper around the chipboard. Next, we're going to fold the paper just to teach it where to go. We don't put any glue at this point. Just fold the paper tightly around the chipboard. And now we can go ahead and add our glue. I always start with the top and the bottom. Leave the sides last. So just apply the liquid glue. Here again, liquid glue is the best. It adds strength and easier to work with. Take your bone folder or your fingers and burnish it really well and do exactly the same thing on the bottom. So you add your glue and then fold the paper on the chipboard. We're basically wrapping the chipboard with our paper. Now for the corners. We're going to insert the corners with the bone folder a little bit, fold them, and this will, when we attach the paper, it will look, the corner will look really sharp and nice. This is what I like to do with the corners. Some people cut them in different ways. this is, I found, the easiest and the best way. And I'm going to do the exact same thing on the other side, and then we'll have our folio ready. Only thing we need to do is cover it with another piece of paper and then leave it aside to dry a little bit. So once our folio is finished, we're going to set it aside to dry for a few seconds, and then we're going to start working on our left side of the folio. So after this is dry, I'm going to go over the spaces in between the cover pieces and gently fold them. And this is our folio cover. Isn't that cool? Really like how it turned out. Can set it aside now and start working on the slash pocket. Okay, so for the slash pocket we need a wet piece of cardstock. Again, you have all the measurements in the cutting guide that you can download from the link under the video. And we're going to score it on the left side at 1/2 inch, and then turn it, and on the long side score it at 5.5 inches. Okay, once we have that, we're going to align our piece, and then with a ruler we're going to make 2 marks, one on the top. From the left edge we're going to mark 1 3/8 of an inch. I like to work with this type of ruler. It's transparent, so it's really easy to see that everything is straight and aligned. So 1 3/8 of a quarter. Make a little mark with your pencil, and then turn it 90 degrees, and from the right side, from the right edge, we are going to make a mark at 1 inch. A little mark, and then we're going to draw a diagonal line connecting the 2 marks. Basically, this is the line that we're going to cut away to create the slash pocket. So you can do this with scissors, you can do this with a craft knife and a ruler, or you can do this with a trimmer and align the cut exactly and cut it. So this is the pocket. Just erase any pencil marks if you have them. And for our cover paper, we're going to do exactly the same, only in slightly different measurements. So from the left edge on the top, we're going to make a mark at 1 1/8 of an inch, 1 1/8, and turn it. And from the right edge, we're going to make a mark at 3/4 of an inch, and then again draw a line, a diagonal line between the 2 points, and cut it with scissors, with a craft knife, or with your trimmer. This is the cover paper for the pocket. Okay, let's cut, and then we can go ahead and cover the paper, the pocket, with our cover paper, and it will look really accurate. We're going to fold on the 2 score lines that we did, and then cut the corner to create our pocket. You don't want to fold the 2 pieces on top of one another. We're going to cut from the bottom and then slightly diagonal like this. And then when we fold, oops, this one is too big. Sorry, I gave you the wrong measurements. The measurements in the cutting guide though are accurate. Sometimes even I make mistakes. It happens. Sorry about that. Let's correct that. Let's make the mark at 3/4 of an inch on the pattern paper, and from the right side on the 1/2 inch mark. This way it's going to be exactly the size that we want. And we can attach the pocket to the left side of the folio. So now we're going to add some glue to the flaps and then add the pocket. Then you can add whatever you want to the other side. I added another flap and some sort of a waterfall pages. Of course, you can embellish the front cover any way that you want. It's completely up to you. It's just, I wanted to show you how to make it so then you can take it and make it your own and continue from there. So this is what I have done. It's just 4x4 pages glued one on top of the other and another flap. So you can add whatever it is that you want to your folio. Next we're going to make another folio. This is one of a series of 12 folios. So we have our basic shapes of the folio from black cardstock. We have 5 pieces, and we're going to score the pieces to make the folio. And then I'm going to show you how to add interactive mechanisms to that folio. So we're going to start with our larger pieces, and we're going to score them on the short side at 1/2 inch, and then on the long side at 1/2 inch and 7 inches. And we have 2 pieces, so we're going to do exactly the same thing on the other piece. Score on the short side at 1/2 inch and on the long side at 1/2 inch and 7 inches. Next we're going to score these are without any scoring, and then we're going to score our strip. We're going to score it every 1/2 inch. So we're going to start at 1/2 inch, then 1 inch, and then 1.5 inches. So this is all the scoring that we need to do. Next we're going to fold, and before that we're going to snip the corners where the score line intersect on both of our larger pieces. This will be much easier to fold and close later. That's why we remove the corners. So we're going to fold on all the score lines on all the pieces, and it's always good to burnish the folds with a bone folder or even with your fingers. So just fold on all the score lines. And then we are also going to fold our connecting strip. But first we're going to glue our pieces inside the larger pieces. Basically we're going to create 2 pockets. So we're going to apply glue on the inside of the 3 tabs. Take the piece of black cardstock that we have and then close the tabs on it. So you see on the right side there is no glue, so that will form a pocket. We're going to do the exact same thing on the other piece. Apply glue on the inside of the tabs and then attach them to that piece of black cardstock to create a pocket. And then we're going to connect the two pockets with our strip, and that will give us the folio. So let's add that piece, align it with the edge, close the tabs, and secure burnish with your bone folder or your fingers. So now we have two pockets. We're going to cut the corners from our strip here. It will be easier to insert it inside the pockets. And then we're going to put the pockets with the openings facing each other. We're going to start with applying glue to the left tab, so from the edge to the score line, the first score line on both sides, and then insert it into the pocket. And then we're going to do exactly the same thing on the other side. Apply glue from the edge to the first score line on both sides, and then insert that into the pocket. And now we have a folio, which is very sturdy, and you can add all sorts of things on it and in it. Just make sure it closes properly, fold it nicely, and this is our folio. So what can you do with those folios? I've made 12 of them, and I'm going to make them into a 12 folios of Christmas. I'm only going to show you one. If you want to see all 12, you need to join the VIP room, and I will put a link in the description under the video how to join to see the entire 12 folios of Christmas. So now we're going to add some flaps. We're going to take the larger flaps and score them on the short side at 1/2 inch. And then we also have small flaps that we're going to score again on the short side at 1/2 inch. You have all the measurements in the cutting guide in the description under the video. You can go ahead and download it. So we need 4 flaps of each size, and we're going to fold all the score lines that we did. And these flaps are going to be interactive inside the folio, and under them you can tuck photos, journaling cards, etc. So how are we going to attach them to the folio? Let's bring the folio, and I'm going to show you. So we're going to apply glue to the tab, and then we're going to attach it to the left side of the folio, aligning it with the left edge like this, of course with the top and the bottom as well. So this is one flap. The second flap is going to go on the right side, and we're going to align it with the first score line that we have there. There are 3, 1 in the middle and then 2 on each side, and that is where we're going to align it with. So these are the vertical flaps, and then we're going to insert the horizontal flaps, which are the little ones. One is going to go on the top and the other is going to go on the bottom. So we're going to do it exactly the same way. Apply glue to the tab, attach the flap, aligning it in the center in between the two vertical flaps. Then we're going to repeat that with the top flap as well. And we still need to do exactly the same thing on the right side of the folio, because everything we put on the left side is going to go on the right side as well. So once everything is dry and both sides are complete, we can go ahead and start covering the folio with all the cover papers. So this is how it looks where all the flaps are attached. Now pre-cut all your cover papers, and then you can go ahead and play with the cover papers. You can mix and match patterns and colors and whatever you want to make it nice and festive. So I wanted to use all the papers that I have. I had only 8x8 papers, so I cut some of them and added 2 pieces on the same side because I didn't have a complete piece, but it still looks really good. Okay, so now let's cover the smaller flaps. You need to cover the inside and the outside, of course. The top one as well. And this is where you design your folio according to what you like, according to the colors, the patterns that you want. So this is the left side, and now we're going to do the right side. You also need to cover the gaps there, let's say the spine of the folio, with strips on the outside and the inside. And then, of course, embellish the folio. You can embellish it on the inside and on the outside. Go as crazy as you want. So basically, this is how the folio looks. Now I'm going to embellish it. You can embellish it any way that you want, with more embellishments or less embellishments that I have made. I just wanted to let you know that this is the first folio of a series of 12 folios of Christmas. Each of the folios starts with the basic shape of the folio, and then I add, or you add, different flaps, different pockets, different designs, and then you get 12 different folios. And I also made a box for them with a really special lid. And these 12 folios of Christmas can really be for the 12 days of Christmas. It can be for 12 years of Christmas, that each year will have different photos, for 12 people, for whatever series you want to make for Christmas. You can use these folios. So this is the first one that we made, and then I'm going to show you how all the other one look. Each one, you see, starts with the basic shape, but the inside design is completely different. Now, if you want to, these are belly bands. If you want to make all of the 12 folios of Christmas, I will put a link to the class under the video in the description, and you will decide if you want to take this class or not. It is a really fun class, very easy to follow. All these folios are really easy to make once you master the basic design that we did in the beginning. And then all you need to do is add the different folio designs with the flaps and the pockets. So like I said, if you want to make all of them, including the box with the special lid, with the 3D lid with the window, then just click the link for the class below. There is a special price for you. So thank you very much for joining me. I really hope you like this design of Christmas folio, and that you will subscribe to my channel and click on the little bell icon to be notified when I upload a new video, so you won't miss anything and you will be able to make all the projects. So I love this folio. It's one of my favorites. You see how there is a lot of room for photos in each and every folio. That was the last one. So go ahead, grab the class. Thank you very much for joining me, and I will see you next time.